Before the boulevards, there was a ghost, a city of shadow, calcified by 1,000 years of history. Look closely at this etching, a labyrinth so dense the sun rarely touched the ground. But watch as the ink bleeds into reality. This is Paris in 1852. The air is thick, not with the scent of perfume, but with the suffocating dust of limestone. We are standing at the precipice of a radical surgery. An entire world is being systematically erased to make way for a vision of light and order. Can you hear it? The heavy thud of the wrecking ball is the heartbeat of the modern age. It is the sound of a medieval heart being torn out to graft a new, iron-willed soul into the earth. Today, we don't just observe history. We walk through the debris of a city being reborn, feeling the grit of the old world beneath our boots as the first gaslights flicker to life in the gathering mist. To understand the cure, one must first feel the sickness. This was the Paris that Napoleon III inherited, a city of spectacular squalor. The streets were rarely wider than the span of a horse's stride. Here, in the belly of the city, the AIR is stale, trapped between overhanging timber houses that seem to lean toward one another in a conspiratorial whisper. The scent of the scene, thick, sulfurous, and stagnant, reaches even these narrow arteries. Observe the crowd. There is no social distance here. The laborer in his heavy, sweat-darkened wool brushes against the silk-lined coat of a clerk. It is a claustrophobic intimacy that bred both revolution and plague. For centuries, these streets were the perfect barricades, a tangle of stone where an empire could be lost in an afternoon. The emperor saw not a home, but a trap. He saw a city that could not breathe, could not flow, and most importantly, could not be policed. The end city of light was, at this moment, a misnomer. It was a city of damp shadows and ancient mud. The wet cobblestones you see beneath your feet have not been dry for decades, but look up. See the wooden scaffolding beginning to rise like skeletal giants above the rooftops. The order has been given. Baron Georges Eugene Haussmann, the prefect of the scene, is unfolding his maps. He is not looking for beauty. He is looking for the straight line, the strategic incision that will bleed the old Paris dry to save it. Witness the urban surgery on a scale the world had never seen. This is the Grande Croisée, the Great Cross. Haussmann is carving a new geometry into the earth. Notice the color of the emerging city, a pale, elegant ivory. This is the famous Lutetia limestone, the Haussmann cream. It is soft when quarried, turning to a hard protective shell as it breathes the Parisian air. The sun, finally able to reach the street level, reflects off these surfaces with a blinding effulgence. But look at the cost. Thousands of families are being displaced, their ancestral hearths turned into white dust. The atmosphere is a permanent mist of stone particles and steam. In this scene, the ratio of the crowd has shifted. The bourgeoisie are beginning to appear, standing on the edges of the construction sites, pointing their walking sticks at the rising facades. They are the new architects of social order. These wide boulevards are designed for the rhythmic trot of cavalry and the smooth roll of the carriage. No longer can a rebellion be hidden in a dark corner. The city is being opened up, ventilated, and illuminated. The glittering chandeliers we will see later in the opera are being prepared here, in the mud and the toil. Time Jex 1.56. The clatter of hooves is no longer a chaotic noise. It is becoming a metronome of progress. Haussmann's straight lines are not just roads, they are the iron rails of a new civilization, leading directly to a future of commerce, spectacle, and control. Every stone laid is a victory over the medieval past. Evening falls, and the city finally earns its name. The mean city of Lychee is not just a metaphor, it is a technological triumph. As the sun dips below the slate roofs, the gaslight glow begins to bloom. Thousands of lamps flicker to life, casting an amber, dancing light across the Haussmann cream facades. We stand before the Palais Garnier, the crown jewel of the new Paris. It is a temple of marble, gold, and ego. Observe the heavy silk of the gowns and the wool of the top hats. The AI has captured the specific luster of wealth. This is the birth of the flaneur, the elegant observer who wanders the boulevards simply to see and be seen. The cafe culture is erupting on every corner. The scent of the scene is replaced by the aroma of roasted coffee and expensive tobacco. But look into the shadows. Even here, the 70-30 rule of the crowd remains. Behind every carriage, there is a groom. Behind every cafe table, a waiter from the slums of Montmartre. The social stratification is baked into the very stone. The opera represents the glittering peak, but it rests upon the labor of those who still live in the tarn, Parisian mist of the outer arrondissements. Time was 1.5s. The city has become a stage, and every citizen is an actor in a play of immense wealth and hidden struggle. The glittering chandeliers within these walls reflect a world that has forgotten the mud of the medieval alleyway, preferring the sanitized, gaslit dream of the modern boulevard. Every revolution carries the seeds of its own end. By 1871, the wide boulevards that were built for the emperor's glory became the avenues for the city's most brutal winter. The city of light grew cold. As we look down this vanishing perspective, we see the legacy of Haussmann's Paris. It is a city of magnificent loneliness. The straight lines that promised order eventually led to the cold efficiency of the modern age. The Haussmann cream, limestone, once so vibrant, now looks like bone in the gray dawn light. The observers, the flaneurs, the merchants, the ghosts of the old world are fading. The AI reconstruction begins to pull back its veil. The vivid colors bleed back into the sepia of the archives. We are left with the architectural skeleton of a dream. Did Haussmann save Paris, or did he merely build a more beautiful cage? The question remains unresolved, hanging in the Parisian mist. The in-clatter of hooves has been replaced by the silence of the photograph. As the images revert to their frozen states as engravings and oil paintings, remember the scent of the limestone dust and the warmth of the flickering gaslight. The city of the 1800s is gone, but its geometry dictates the lives of millions today. The past is never truly dead. It is simply waiting for us to breathe life into its shadows once more. We leave Paris as we found it, a mystery etched in stone, forever oscillating between the labyrinth and the light.